Welcome to the very first episode of The Extraction Point, a series of podcasts, interviews, updates, and anything else you could want to know about DEADROP. We have a very special first episode for you guys here, and I got the very awesome opportunity of being able to interview the studio lead of 12 a.m. in DEADROP, Robert Bowling, aka 402. It was even in person, which was super special to me, so I hope you guys enjoy.
Welcome, everybody. My name is Kyroh, and I'm here with the head of Midnight Society, 402, for a very special interview that he has granted me with. I'm super grateful for this, and honestly, man, it's just awesome to meet you in person.
Yeah.
I've been a COD gamer since Call of Duty probably 4, whenever you started getting really involved,
Right.
and really fell in love with it. So this interview for me is huge, man.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, so let's get right into it. I'm gonna go through a bunch of the stuff that you've mentioned in like the AMAs and the previous interview, like you did with Mayor.
Sure.
But the first one is in a previous interview, you spoke about how certain things in the tower will require gadgets. How do you foresee that playing out? Do you think it's gonna be like areas or like vaults that are like you can't get to without certain gadgets, or do you have any idea on that?
I mean, we are experimenting with a lot of different stuff, right? So there is no wrong answer at this stage. We're going to start introducing some of those gadgets throughout snapshots, seeing what people think, seeing if there's other types of gadgets they would want. But right now, the things we're experimenting with are ways to get around the map, right? A key example of that is like, what if you could go up zip lines instead of just down zip lines, right? Some of those are based around extractions. What if there were some extractions that required a gadget, right? So you can only use it. And that gives you a little bit more flexibility because maybe you don't want to, go in.
You don't want to go to the zip line or the helicopter. You want to go and hit the safer one because you have that gadget.
Yeah, you already have it in your inventory. So it diversifies your play style in different ways and allows you to sort of tailor it. So there's a few different types of gadgets that we're sort of experimenting with. Some of them are passive. Some of them are like about augmenting your gameplay. Some of them are about augmenting your extractions. We're going to try them out. And as with everything, the community is going to play it. Tell me what you like, what you don't like, other types of extractions. If something feels wrong as a gadget, maybe it belongs somewhere else and not as a gadget.
Trust me, we will tell you.
Yeah,
if we don't
I have
like
no
it.
doubt. I have no doubt.
Okay, so that's really cool. I mean, you know me, man. I'm super excited for the wingsuits. I think everybody in the community has really like fallen in love with the ledge grabs because you can jump down, not take fall damage, and it really just heightens that skill gap for movement. And a lot of people really love that. So yeah,
Yes.
we're excited to see what you guys bring for that. Number 2 is going to be about variant involvement. How do you guys foresee the future of variant involvement and voting developing through these snapshots? Like, I know one game that does a really good job of it involving their community is Minecraft. They have they'll present like 3 new characters that they might put in the game, and then the community will vote on it. Do you think it's going to be something like that, or do you think it's more feedback related?
Well, right now, while we're building the foundational elements of the games and the core gameplay systems and the things that make up all the gameplay modules that is DEADROP, a lot of it is feedback oriented, right? It's all about what do you like, what do you don't like, how can we augment it better, what are the features we should be prioritizing. So that is why I talk about things that I talk about openly in AMAs at our founders events. It's because if I drop a little teaser about something like gadgets, and
everyone freaks out.
And everyone freaks out and you run on it. Then I'm like, look, people want fucking gadgets.
Yeah.
And what our community does really good is they will take that and they won't just like say like, oh yeah, I like the idea of gadgets. They will give us
More
very
ideas.
specific ideas of like, oh, what about this?
That
That stuff is just fuel for development and creativity. But that's now, right? In this early development stage. In the future, that those like early voting rights and say and stuff is going to have a high impact on all the UGC stuff, right?
Okay.
Because a part of the UGC publishing is not just the creation of stuff, but also where does that stuff belong, right? Because in my mind, there is a clear divide between what I call creative mode, which is everything else, and what is DEADROP, right?
Yeah.
DEADROP needs to remain a fair, competitive, fun, balanced experience, right?
And UGC is whatever we want to make it.
And UGC is meant to just be fun.
Go crazy.
Right? Yeah, go crazy. So the community is going to have a lot of say because there might be times that a UGC element comes in that is just fucking incredible.
Right.
And the community, like when I say community, I mean specifically those with voting rights, might say, oh, I think that belongs in
In the
DEADROP,
game. Yeah.
right?
No, that's super refreshing. I don't mean to cut you off, but
Yeah.
like knowing that you guys are willing to take the stuff that does get created by the community and then possibly even implement that if the variants like it enough. I mean, that just gives a lot of hope for being involved with the game's future, and that feels really nice. Okay, so in the previous AMA, I asked you a question about your thoughts on how you guys would foster relationships with creators, and we went into the events and some other things like that. I was wondering what your thoughts are on eventually possibly having like an official DEADROP creators program or something like that. I know that a lot of the Web3 communities have been like leveraging creators through things like a creator program to like really put forth a bunch of content. I mean, we have a game that like I feel like it's super easy to make content on right now because you have proximity chat, you have highlights, etc.
Yeah.
But I could totally see like I can see some room for like collaboration between DEADROP's creators or even like the people who come into DEADROP from Web2 that see everybody having fun on it. I just thought maybe a creator program might be in your guys' future at some point.
Yeah, I would say it's almost inevitable that there's an official creator program for content creators that comes.
Hear that? I love that.
I think that stuff really starts taking shape the closer to launch you get.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. How did the AI playtest go? If you can't tell me, I feel you.
So I was talking to Spicy Dingle earlier.
Yes.
He's here, and I was talking to him about how I keep trying to do small snapshots, right? Which is like, hey, every snapshot doesn't have to be this huge monumental thing. Sometimes it's fine if there's just iterative updates, optimizations, quality of life improvements, bug fixes. And it
I would take that for Snapshot 6, honestly. I mean,
yeah, you know what? So I try.
And they said no.
But then you have things like AI come in, which is a major feature to the game. And you play test it. If it's going well, it gains momentum, right? It becomes a big thing. That is where AI is right now, right? There's a lot of really cool stuff there. It's feeling really fun. I'm excited for people to get in it because it does change the meta of the game.
Oh yeah, I mean, when you look at Sector 3, I mean, we've been talking about like what a populated lobby would look like in Sector 3 with 30 plus people. When you feel that, how intense it really gets during that, you can't even imagine a spot for AI in the map yet. So like, then we have the processing hub on the other side of Sector 3 that AI could possibly go to. I'm not gonna lie to you, FOURZEROTWO. Everybody in the community really thinks AI is coming for Snapshot 6. So I guess we're gonna have to see.
We'll see, man. Playtests are fun.
Yeah, so next one I got is you've spoken about mastery of weapons and progression that will eventually come into the game.
Did I?
I'm not gonna lie, I scrubbed every interview with you about DEADROP, like a lot.
Oh man, all right.
I'm not gonna ask too deep onto it, but
Sure.
my question is, I think in the pre-alpha, one thing that the community has seen that would be kind of cool would be how like in old CODs you could grind like a weapon headshots to get the gold weapon, right? So like, do you foresee anything that is like a grindable skin or something during like the alpha or beta stages where players who are playing early will get rewarded for grinding and testing out the game like that? Or do you think that's kind of out of the picture?
I don't know about the people early. Like there are already things that the people early get advantage of, right? Like the variants everybody has. There are only 10,000 of those. There are not going to be more, right? And then when it comes, and then like things like the Deep Freeze collection, right? That was earned by all of our founders and the tower key holders. So there will definitely be drops like that occur that people will benefit. But specifically what you're asking of things that you grind to get to, there is elements of that very similar to the Call of Duty systems that used to be in my previous games where you sort of progress something and you unlock something. And the sort of thinking behind that is, because we are an extraction shooter and you can lose stuff that you get in the core game mode, we still want there to be some benefit to being like, oh man, I did a lot with this weapon class, right? Like, oh man, I fucking dominate with the sniper. Yeah, maybe I don't have any snipers right now in my inventory.
But your mastery is high.
Yeah, but I've done stuff
with identity with like the weapons too, doing something.
Yes,
like that,
and give you stuff that you cannot lose. And stuff that you cannot lose is efficiency with a weapon, progression in a weapon, and rewards that you've unlocked with that weapon.
I'm super excited to see that progress. That'll be cool. Yeah. Do you think there will be merch created from entities in the game? The easy one here would be like a Space Bob bobblehead or something like that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think there will be. Yeah.
Okay.
These things have a way of taking on a life of their own, especially Space Bob.
It really has. Yeah. It's kind of crazy, actually. You go in the Discord, there's Space Bobs everywhere now. Is there a world where a weapon or POI could be named after a community member?
There is a world where that could happen for sure.
Hear me out. We renamed the crane to Mayor Reynolds Crane.
Oh,
that dude
man.
sits up there all the time.
That internally, that was Brad's crane because he would never leave it. So,
Okay. Mayor Reynolds, you got some competition. All right, so how do you feel about? I mean, you were just on a panel just a second ago. I know you guys didn't see it, but you were just on a panel with Shrapnel, another extraction shooter, and then you've seen the Bungie game with Marathon coming out with another extraction shooter.
Yeah.
What is your thoughts on the recent uprising of the competition in the extraction shooter genre? Do you think like games are? Because in my experience, I went through arena shooters into battle royales, and now everyone seems to be doing extraction shooters. Do you see it as like the next wave, or that you guys were just early on? Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of the talks that I have with our investors and people that we work with on the business side is like, I honestly believe that the extraction shooter genre is the next big subgenre for first-person shooters, right? It combines what we loved about arena shooters with a lot of the features we like about battle royale without being a battle royale.
Right.
Because of the extraction element and like building this collection of stuff that you now can do stuff with, it adds a long tail to the game that didn't exist before.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a lot, and like I love all this competition coming in because what Marathon is doing is very different than what we're doing, right? What Shrapnel's doing is very different than what we're doing. What Tarkov does is different than what we do. So
just pushing the needle forward.
yeah, just like back in the day when I was working on Call of Duty, it was always like the difference between like the sim shooters like Arma, right? The games like Battlefield and us. Yeah, we're all shooter or Medal of Honor.
Yep.
We're all shooters, but we're very different personalities of shooters, right?
Yeah, COD is such an arcade shooter. I mean, that's what I really love about DEADROP is like it really mixes all the elements of the games that I grew up loving into one thing.
Yeah.
I mean, with the sins, how fast-paced the game is currently, like it feels like very arcadey, and I love that. Let's see. So, being a former professional player myself, I played Apex Legends. Seeing DEADROP's competitive scene grow has been like really fun for me. And I know you guys said you don't really intend on catering towards esports, but I was curious on like what you thought about how there's already like community tournaments popping up. You guys are throwing a couple tournaments. You're seeing the scene develop at such an early age. Like, is that what you guys thought would happen, or is it just kind of popping up and you're excited to see it?
Well, like the thing we keep saying is like you don't make an esports game, right? You make a great game and then esports chooses you or it doesn't.
Right.
And so that's what we've always focused on is like, let's make a killer game. And then most importantly, especially on the UGC side and the custom rule set side, let's give the community the ability to tailor that great game.
Love that.
And so that's what we expect to happen is we're going to give you the ability to limit certain weapons from spawning, control the space, make it more competitive, tailor it towards the competitive scene, and then have that be the official mode if that's what everybody rallies behind.
Beautiful.
And if that's what people want, if that's what the orgs want, then that's what's going to happen.
So speaking of orgs, I'm curious to tail off that last question. You know, you guys had the Optic event, which I've grown up always wanting to wear an Optic jersey, watched the whole scene grow with them specifically. Like seeing what Hex has done has been absolutely awesome for gaming. Do you foresee a future where DEADROP players and creators are getting a spot on some of these high tier organizations like that?
Oh, I mean, the fact that we are a year in and we already have hundreds of thousands of hours of gameplay in by this community, like the people who have been here since day one are leaps and bounds ahead.
Oh yeah,
right.
I mean, I at least have 500 hours. I'm not gonna lie, I've got a lot.
So I feel like when the game launches and these orgs officially move into the scene, like that community that's playing right now is ripe for recruitment.
Hit us up, everyone.
Right.
All right, so let me go into. I was having a conversation with Brad the other day about the processing hub, and he was giving us some really cool insight on like how the maps were built. And I was wondering, do you foresee content being created on like a behind the scenes and DEADROP in the future?
I don't know. I mean, we try to be like super transparent as it is, right? And show like through the variant guide, through the AMAs, through all the content that we do, sort of show that process of development. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we'll do like full on like VidDoc style BTS stuff.
Right.
We try to just do that as we develop along the way.
Got it. All right. So I told you I wasn't going to hold you forever. So I'm going to go into the lightning round real quick.
All right.
So favorite map from any FPS game? If you can think of one.
My favorite map is Crash.
Crash.
Yeah.
Played a lot of S&D wagers on
Yeah,
Crash.
I love. Yeah, it just works on so many game modes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Favorite gun from any FPS?
So it's not the best gun, but my favorite gun is the G36C.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good gun. If you don't know that gun, Google it.
Yeah.
3 games that you would take to an island if you could play video games on an island.
3 games that I take to an island. Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time on the N64. Fallout 3. And Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Those would be the 3.
I love that. That's a good variety. Okay, this one's a hard one. Doc versus you, 1 versus 1, Desert Eagle, COD 4. Who wins?
COD 4.
OG
Desert Eagle specifically COD 4 me. Yeah, I can be Doc with that. Yeah.
Speaking of the Deagle, everyone's gonna be mad at me for asking this, but let's turn the heavy pistol into the Deagle. Just saying. I mean, iconic weapon. Come on.
You wait for Snapshot 6. I think you're gonna love it.
Oh, come on. That's a little leak right there. Let's go.
It's a serious weapon. I feel like the heavy pistol is meta now.
I mean, it's strong. It just sounds really weak right now. So whatever y'all got in store for us, I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Does it bother you? You don't have to answer this.
All right.
Does it bother you that Call of Duty is releasing titles that are named the same as your brainchild?
Yes, I fucking hate it.
I fucking hate it
I
too.
hate it.
Seeing
So
them pick up MW2 or even MW in general and just reusing the name, they can't be doing that.
It's confusing.
It ruins the legacy.
It's weird, man. It's weird.
Okay. Any console progress from the last time that we asked this question? I think it was the AMA last time you said there was like some recent developments with Xbox. I'm not expecting anything big. I was just wondering if there's any big breakthroughs lately.
No, I mean we're going through the process, and luckily we're gaining steam. Every time we do this, I do one of these interviews. I say like, "Hey guys, like, come on, help
them out,
help us out," and that's actually been happening. Like there's been different people at Microsoft sort of reaching out, being like, "What can I do to help speed this along?" And I'm like, "Yes, please, more fuel to the fire." So I'm looking at you, Matt Booty. Get involved.
All right, so this is gonna be my last one.
Yeah.
In the 17 years plus of games that you have been shipping,
sure,
what has been the hardest and what has been the most fun part? I know this is a hard question.
Yeah. The hardest part is the games that never release. That's the hardest part. I've spent years developing really good games that never saw the light of day, which is the reason that one of the reasons that we're developing DEADROP the way we're doing it now. It's because it's a lot harder to kill something that's been out in the world living and breathing and people are playing it, right? When you're designing it and building it and only playing it behind the scenes, if it goes away, no one ever knew it existed, right? So that's probably the hardest part of making games over the last 18 years is all the games that never came out that I know were good. The most fun part is, I don't know, man, like
all of it.
Like being a fan of so when I worked on the Call of Duties that I worked on, I was just as much a fan as I was working on the game. Right. So I would work on them all day long, 8 hours a day, normally 12 hours a day. Then I would go home and I would play them until 4 a.m.
It seems like back then it was all about the love for the game.
Yes.
And everything, and it really has just changed into a lot more about
and it
money.
was like, it was not a job. It was a lifestyle.
Right.
We lived it. We breathed it. We sweat it.
And seeing like the esports blow up from like all the old OGs from back in the day, it was all passion. It was all passion.
And what's amazing, like the fun part now is a lot of those guys who grew up playing Call of Duty 4 and the early Call of Duties are now like the biggest influencers. Yeah. And so that's when we went to the Optic Arena, all those guys flew themselves out and we didn't pay anybody anything.
Right.
They came and they played and they competed and they streamed it because they were fans. And like, that's incredible. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. Seeing that, I had a wedding that I had to go to that weekend and it was heartbreaking that I could not make that event. Okay. I know I said last one, but I got one more quick one.
Okay.
Midnight Society, Game Studio is going to be making multiple games. If you had to pick the genre of the next game, what is the next game that you guys make?
Oh, man. I don't know. I really want to make an RPG at some point in my career.
I would love to see it.
I
would love to see it.
I mean, my top 3 games were Ocarina of Time and Fallout 3.
Yeah.
I would love to just do a big, deep RPG. You're going to have shooter elements for sure. but like a
based
big.
around variants.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That'd be
That
so
would be
cool.
cool.
All right, man. Thank you guys for watching. Seriously, thank you so much for coming out. I really do
thanks, man.
appreciate it. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Awesome. Thanks.